Do you know what Michelle Obama, Tom Hanks, and Maya Angelou have in common? Imposter syndrome. Yep, you didn't see that coming? I know. I didn't see that coming as well. So, yes, and specifically, Maya Angelou had said, I have written 11 books, but each time I think that they're going to find me. I have been playing a game so far, but they're going to find me now. They're going to expose me. And it's unbelievable to think that Maya Angelou is thinking like that. But yes, it happens to the best of us. Absolutely. So in 1978, there was a survey where 100 women were surveyed who were formally recognized for their professional excellence, and they displayed academic achievement. So they had the credentials. But despite all this external validation, they lacked the internal acknowledgement of their accomplishments. They didn't see what they have achieved. They couldn't believe that they were worthy of this external validation and of this recognition. In opposition to that, they thought that all these that they were enjoying, all these external validation and recognition, was due to pure luck or coincidence, but not because of their efforts. Also, they experienced anxiety, lack of confidence, depression, and also frustration. And on top of that, they were not seeking for help because they thought that they were not worthy of attention. This survey back in 1978 by Pauline Clance and Susan Innes resulted in the article called Imposter Syndrome in High Achieving Women. And it was the first time that the term imposter syndrome was used in order to describe this internal experience of intellectual phoniness. That was the definition back then. So, since then, we're talking about this syndrome where we think that we don't deserve success or luck. I think that's the best way for me to describe imposter syndrome. We don't believe we deserve success or luck or recognition. Imposter syndrome is when we doubt about our skills, about our talents, about our accomplishments. We doubt that we did it. We also feel this internalized fear that we will be sooner or later exposed as a fraud. People will see that. People will call us out. People will understand that we don't hold the credentials in order to be what we claim to be. And sometimes these efforts or these success and achievements are incorrectly attributed to what we call the Matthew effect, which is the definition of I am who I am because of friends, family, or wealth. So it means that I am in this position because somebody helped me. Either that was money, circumstances, or people that helped me. So not me, something else, some external circumstances that help me be where I am. So this is what we call the imposter syndrome. Do you recognize some of this in your behavior? Have you felt like that before? What I would like to explain now is some of the main characteristics of imposter syndrome so that you can see whether this is your case, so that you can understand what we're talking about. So, one of the main characteristics is the fear of evaluation. We are afraid that there will be a time that we will be evaluated, and then people will see that we don't have the knowledge. All the things that we have been managing or all the things that we have been achieving so far, it was because other people helped or because of pure luck, but not because we have the training or the knowledge in order to facilitate projects or success. So, the fear of evaluation. The fear also of continuing success. That's why people with imposter syndrome have a fear of success, because Yes, I want to succeed, but what if I cannot continue that success? What if I cannot follow through with that? So it's the fear of not continuing success. Another one is the fear that I am not as capable as others. The constant comparisons. Other people know more. Other people have done this training. That's why people with imposter syndrome, they keep learning, they keep getting training all the time, because they feel that I have to have training in all these areas so that I can be considered as capable. So this constant comparison, that because of the fear I'm not capable as others. Also, what comes together is the self-doubt. All the time doubting about whether I can make it, whether I can succeed, whether I deserve. That's one of the main fears. And also the fear of failure. Fear of success and fear of failure, eh? What a combination. I'm afraid that I cannot continue the success, but also I'm afraid that I'm going to fail. Constantly feeling scared, right? If you can see through the lines, you can see that all the time they're feeling scared of something. But also, and that's something that is very interesting, the need to be the best. Can you see a little bit of perfectionism here, right? I need to be the best because if I am the second best, I failed. I need to be seen as special because if people cannot see that, then I'm nothing. This all or nothing mindset is really strong in people with imposter syndrome. That comes together also, as we said, perfectionist, but also with the denial of ability. And it was not me that I did it, but also with the discounting of praise. Even though somebody would say it was because of you that we made it with our clients or with our project, the person with imposter syndrome will be there to say, well, I don't think that it was me. It was the team. I don't think that I did something important. And even if they don't say, they think that voice very loud in their brain. They think that it's not them. They didn't do anything special. If only I could be the one that you imagine me to be. They're feeling guilty because they succeeded, because they know inside them that it was not them, and they don't hold the pattern so that they can repeat the success. They feel guilty that they are being recognized as something that they don't see themselves as successful or important. And of course, another characteristic of a person with imposter syndrome is the over preparing, because they think that they don't hold the knowledge for completing a project or task. They over prepare. You know that I'm talking a lot about perfectionism, but do you see how these two interrelate, how one overlaps with the other? You are a person with imposter syndrome. You are a perfectionist because you know that you are not enough. The shame and the lack of self acceptance is in both of these mindsets. And I want to say that both of these, the perfectionism and the imposter syndrome, is a mindset. It's not a mental disorder. It can lead to a mental disorder. It can lead to anxiety, depression. It can lead to burnout. However, we're talking about a distorted belief system about ourselves, a distorted idea we have about the world and how people see us, and of course, how we see ourselves. And even though initially the survey that I mentioned was in women, later on, with, of course, continuing research on imposter syndrome, it was found out that equally men and women suffer from imposter syndrome. And you may ask, where is it coming from then? The roots are usually family expectations, when you have been attributed as the best, the good one, the talented one. You feel the pressure to hold this label, to meet these expectations all the time. And you haven't been prepared by your environment to match any possible setbacks and failure with, of course, being capable. So you think either I'm capable and I never fail, or if I fail, I'm incapable. So You see how sometimes overprotective family environments, they lead into us having this distorted idea of the world, of failure and of success. Of course, racial differences and different perspectives, different environments, anxiety, depression, perfectionism, it's the root of imposter syndrome. And of course, all this excessive self monitoring that makes us see ourselves and doubt about ourselves all the time is the root for imposter syndrome. So, to wrap it up, how imposter syndrome is created but also continuing in our life. We have a new project, we have anxiety, and we over prepare, we procrastinate a lot, we get overwhelmed because of this and because we want to prove that we are worthy of the success or the recognition. So we over prepare, we overthink, overanalyze, then eventually we complete the project. However, we attribute it to luck. Oh, I was lucky that I succeeded with the project and that I completed it because I knew that I was not capable for that. That's why I was having all this stress. So, because we attribute that to luck or circumstances, then we even increase self doubt and we continue feeling like a fraud. So, this is a circle that we continue, we feed this circle. So, that was a description of imposter syndrome, an introduction to imposter syndrome, so that you can see what are the main characteristics, but also how you can recognize it in yourself and how you can understand more about it. Let me know whether you have recognized in yourself this imposter syndrome, whether you recognize some of these characteristics. And let's continue this conversation. Let me know your questions. Thank you very much for being here. And if you want to see how much of a perfectionist you are, don't forget there's a free guide for you, and you're going to find it in the comments, in the description, so that you can see the 20 features of perfectionism, so that you can see what is it that we need to change so that we can start enjoying all the success that we have brought into our life because of our efforts, because of our skills and talents, right? You deserve it. Thank you very much for being here. Take good care of yourself.